rider. Double rolls through. It is Paul Double. I think Mikel Honoré. Ryan Gibbons is doing a brilliant ride here because he's hanging on with this lot. Ben Zwihoff is the former mountain biker of choice at Red Bull Bora Hansgrohe at the back of this group. These four. Ryan Gibbons is on a brilliant ride this week, isn't he? Not giving up at all, Maggie. I love it.
Yeah, no, he's done a phenomenal week.
And Mikel Honoré was the man in pink who was forcing this. My man for the GC, Paul Double, flicks his elbow. Doesn't want to do too much too soon. If anyone watches the finale from last year on this climb, you need to learn from Victor Lafay, who did a little bit too much too soon just after this easing here, where it got a bit steeper into the woods. It is one of those climbs, I think, which comes back to bite you at the very, very end. Of course, the people who read it perfectly last time were Oscar Onley and Lennart van Eetvelt, because they waited and waited and waited to sort each other out and really separate each other at the final part. The finish this year, though, I need to remind people, that's pretty much the only change of this year's course at the Tour of Guangxi from last year, is it carries on a little bit further. This is the current red jersey, which we know will be changing now, because Paul Magnier has been drifting around with his team at the back, not looking like he's suffering, but just possibly, Magnus, as you hinted at earlier, maybe saving something for tomorrow's stage.
This is interesting. Just one of the UAE riders swinging off the front there, and the pace didn't get picked up straight away. So this is now really looking good for these three here. Unless someone takes up the chase, we're getting close to too close to the finish.
Oh, that looks like Jan Christen. I think that looks like the form of Jan Christen out the saddle. It's the kind of Jan Christen we're used to seeing all season. He's kept it under wraps this week, and I don't know how he has. We were talking about the early Theo Gegenhardt as being the fizzing, can't help himself sort of attacking rider. That's what Jan Christen has been this year, that non-stop attacking and vicious acceleration on the steep climbs as well. He might be able to ride across to these three. It looks like Mikel Honoré is just suffering a little bit back there. Ben Zwihoff has got back onto the back wheel of Paul Double. This is Paul Double in the best form of his career. He won the Tour of Slovakia a few weeks ago when he outclimbed Kian Utebrooks on that occasion to get the biggest win of his career. But this is a World Tour stage race here, and at the moment, Double looking good for these three, but there's almost a sense that you're waiting to see who comes across to them, Maggie.
Well, you still have to hold your cards quite close to your chest, because the steepness of the climb in the final couple of 100 meters, or let's call it 800 meters, is significant. But now you can see Double really deciding that it's time to go. 1 kilometer to go there.
Right, we're looking back to riders further down the field as well. Now Paul Double goes again. There won't be too many more, excuse me, of these kind of efforts he can make, the Brit, for the Australian Jaco Alula team, but he looks back to see the depths of separation. I don't want to sound clever, but this is why I picked him for the GC this week as well, Paul Double, because he is such a snappy, lightweight climber, and as Magnus, as you've said as well, and it's notable, in a way, Paul Double is a very similar kind of build to Lennart van Eetvelt, who won on this stage. When it gets super, super steep, it really swings in the favour of the very lightweight riders that have a powerful set of quads on them, who can really kick hard in the steeper section. Paul Double, Lennart van Eetvelt, very much those kind of riders. By the way, sorry, Maggie, go on.
Paul Double really getting a very, very good gap here now. I think he's got a very good chance of bringing this home.
Yes, he has. He has. It is. I'm pretty certain, though. I'm pretty certain we're watching Jan Christen, who's just ridden across to the other two in that group as well. So we'll just see whether he can kick on from there. But this is an all-out attack now from Paul Double, and it only gets steeper from here. 500 metres to go. He's about to come into the steepest section of it, actually, but he's looking, as Magnus has said, very good. As we zoom out, we need to see, though, this is going to be a long 500 metres, because it gets up to 15% here, and it's in and out of these twists and turns where that steepness comes to. Then he's got the gradual drag to the line. Paul Double at some point probably won't start thinking about whether it's a GC ride just this. It's all about the stage. Let the general classification look after itself. He will not be easing up and celebrating, though, if he does get to the finish line first, because it looks like at the moment a pink jersey of Mikel Honoré He's pulled his earpiece out, Magnus, as well, so he wants to fully focus on this, Honoré.
Yeah, he definitely does.
This is a great ride from the Dane. I wouldn't necessarily have picked him out as being one of those who'd be at the front at this stage with just a few hundred meters to go.
No, me neither. But he's doing a great ride. Paul Double's he's got a good gap here now.
Yeah. Yeah, this is the ride of this final stage for sure so far from Paul Double, but there's no coming back from this. I think if he does get caught, he'll struggle to get back on top of it again, because he has put an awful lot into this so far. The gap is there, it's not enormous, but he has 125 metres to go. Paul Double is riding his way here to the Queen stage, and his first ever World Tour win. He won the Tour of Slovakia a few weeks ago, and look at this. What a step up in the career of Paul Double, the British rider who takes the Queen stage of the Tour of Guangxi, because he hasn't done it the classic British cycling way. He's not a track rider, he's not come through the national team setup, he's done it the hard way, and then just working his way up, gradually, finding his way in the World Tour this year, and this is the new high watermark. Paul Double winning in the World Tour, and I think by the look of it, and I'll share this with you, I had a brief conversation with him after his Tour of Slovakia, and he's a very confident guy, confident in his own abilities as a climber as well. So I think that's why in that you probably see that he's not overly shocked. He knew, I think, that this is within him and his capacity, and he's just delivering on what he has within his locker.
Couldn't agree more. And what, phenomenal climb that he's done. But we kind of knew that he was capable of doing it, so it isn't a massive shock. It's not like there's a meteor landed on Earth, He's been there, he's been showing these kind of skills and the class beforehand. So, but good to see him do it on, the highest level of the sport.
Yeah, indeed. Oh gosh, he went really deep as well. Effectively had to kind of attack twice, didn't he?
Yeah.
Chose his moment just after the plateau, as it started to steepen again. I want to see, though, and I still haven't yet seen it, Magnus, I want to see the result of the riders behind. Nordhagen was not far back. Uterbrooks was not far back either. Go on, Maggie.
So, there was he had 9 seconds to Victor Lafay, 11 seconds on to Honoré and Nordhagen, Uterbrooks, Narvaez. So in my reckoning, because Paul Double, remember, he took those 2 bonus seconds relatively early on in one of the intermediate sprints, whether it was day 2, I believe it was, that he picked up those couple of seconds. So he was on 38 seconds on the general classification before today. And with that, the best place rider for the rest of them was Jonathan Narvaez at 33 seconds. So according to my quick calculations, Paul Double has got the leader's jersey